rewinding a bit to when Golden Monkey detected a strange aura invading the city. It immediately rushed to assist in the battle. By the time it reached the center, where Emperor Crocodile was fighting two divine mutants, the battle had already ended, and Emperor Crocodile had been healed. Standing on a tree branch from afar, it heard the cries of the strange beasts celebrating. "He's awake! He's awake! He's fine now!" Which was enough to fill its heart with happiness. Tears welled up in its eyes. Golden Monkey had grown up among the younglings of Misty Mountain, but when the battle took place, it acted in an extremely discreet manner, neither seeking credit nor revealing itself. Instead, it followed the canyon where Sigma had escaped, chasing after him. Upon reaching the canyon, it encountered the badger and the wild boar. Since this was a silent departure with no goodbyes, the unexpected reunion made them so overjoyed that Golden Monkey immediately knocked both of them unconscious with a single strike each. Standing tall with its chest out, its gaze looked somewhat eerie in the dim light. After rendering the two unconscious, Golden Monkey dragged them deep into the forest. The badger's carefully styled fur got completely ruined as it was dragged along the ground, belly up. After some effort, Golden Monkey managed to tuck them both inside a hollow tree trunk. It even thoughtfully gathered some leaves to make a soft bed for them to sleep on. Though their heads were swollen like drums, the badger, being the carefree type, took the opportunity to sleep soundly. It was the kind of creature that either stayed awake or, once asleep, wouldn't wake up even if the sky fell. Only then did Golden Monkey feel at ease. It turned around and quietly left. It didn't forget to smile as a silent farewell. If it survived this ordeal, it would apologize later, but for now, it had no intention of thinking about anything else. It continued forward in a straight line, without looking back. No one knew how much time had passed. The dark entrance of the wormhole had been there for quite a while, yet no one had come to block the way. Sigma sat nearby, keeping watch while catching its breath. It felt like it had recovered about 50% of its strength. So it was time to leave. After all, this was enemy territory. If anyone noticed it, things could get troublesome. Just as that thought crossed its mind, there was no sign of spies lurking, only someone who acted immediately and without hesitation. From the northeast, a dark figure flew in, wielding a long staff, and slammed it down onto the wormhole entrance with a thunderous crash. The impact was so intense that the entrance itself might have warped. Sigma immediately sprang to its feet, fully alert. "Pursuers?" it questioned internally. But why hadn't they attacked right away? Golden Monkey stood still amidst a thick cloud of dust. From Sigma's perspective, it could make out a faint outline, dark fur, an entrance as fierce as the Monkey King himself, and a gaze brimming with murderous intent. There was no need for words. Its presence alone made its purpose crystal clear. Small in stature but exuding undeniable toughness, this was unmistakably a monkey, though its fur was a different shade. Sigma growled in frustration. That little monkey was only half its size, yet it dared to look down on him from above, confidently creating such a commotion without even resorting to a sneak attack. How dare it? Its spiritual energy surged violently, flames of power igniting around it. Sigma's eyes burned with hatred as it glared at the intruder. "You filthy monkey! Get out of here right now!" it spat through gritted teeth. But the moment those words left its mouth, Golden Monkey had already leaped forward without a single word. In truth, its actions were quite reckless, but that recklessness came with overwhelming force, deadly intent, and above all, the sheer audacity to strike Sigma head-on. And not just anywhere. Golden Monkey aimed directly at Sigma's face. Sigma was utterly shocked when the staff struck its chest. The impact was so close and precise, covered in spikes. This weapon had somehow pierced through. But it wasn't over yet. A thunderous explosion followed. sending dirt flying in all directions, with thick smoke obscuring the view. Golden Monkey had already leaped back a few meters, cautiously observing. This first strike was a test to gauge the opponent's strength. To its surprise, Sigma's forearm had been completely severed, flying 5 meters away. Yet, despite this, Sigma still stood firm. "I come to kill you at the very moment you take pride in your own strength." Golden Monkey lowered itself into a defensive stance, eyes locked onto Sigma with an intense glare. At this moment, the so-called God of Creation stared wide-eyed in disbelief. This seemingly weak opponent had calculated everything from the beginning, delivering an incredibly precise and deadly strike. Meanwhile, after the Western City and the Crocodile Territory had been thrown into chaos, something massive was happening on Dragon Island. Tree roots thrashed wildly in the air, spiritual energy fluctuating intensely, rising and falling like someone breathing heavily. Lin Hua and Yellow Butterfly immediately recognized the signs. "This is it! Our master is about to break through!" Elsewhere, the Serpent Woman, who had been toying with some clueless beasts, instinctively looked up. It took her a moment to realize that it wasn't just the roots. Spiritual energy had completely engulfed the area. Yu Ziyu's breakthrough was turning the entire realm upside down. A towering pillar of energy shot into the sky, dyeing the ancient willow tree in a deep, mesmerizing shade of green. This time, the evolution was unlike any before. This breakthrough was a result of absorbing the dragon soul of the White Dragon King and the evolution points from Jiao. Once this was complete, he would no longer be a peak rank 5 willow tree. He would officially step into the ranks of the Transcendent. Rank 6. Yu Ziyu's evolution was taking place in the Dragon Graveyard on Dragon Island, a place filled with countless white dragon bones watching his transformation unfold. Unaware of the fierce battles raging elsewhere, he remained fully immersed in his transcendence, while his subordinates fought desperately in the distance. A strike infused with spiritual energy, this was Sigma's counterattack. Its severed arm morphed into a cannon lined with razor-sharp fangs, firing an unexpected blast of raw power at its opponent. Truly a battle-hardened warrior, Sigma's shot landed squarely on Golden Monkey. The impact was devastating. Golden Monkey coughed up a mouthful of blood. Just a single attack had the power to crush both its fighting spirit and its strength. It planted its staff into the ground, its golden fur stained with fresh blood and charred from the blast. Yet, its eyes remained unchanged, unyielding, unwavering. Sigma was baffled. It should have been over. Any other creature would have collapsed or given up by now, with both strength and speed surpassing Golden Monkey's by miles. Why was it still standing? It had neither overwhelming power nor the mighty crocodile bloodline, so why was it still fighting? This thing is stubborn as hell. Sigma clicked its tongue. Damn it! I've picked a fight with a lunatic. Despite its severe injuries, Golden Monkey shot into the air like a missile. At that moment, Sigma started to feel a hint of fear. Living in disgrace is better than dying with honor. It only wanted to escape. Even a king would lose to a lunatic. What chance did it have? Even though Sigma belittled Golden Monkey's strength, it couldn't deny the terrifying destructive power it had displayed. Fighting this thing was a waste of time. On top of that, spiritual energy was closing in from all directions. The battle must have drawn attention. Others were bound to show up soon. Time was running out. Sigma spread its claws wide, making a swift decision: kill it now. There was no escape. Golden Monkey was relentless, and it would keep chasing. There was only one option left: Fang Execution Array. Just as the name suggested, it was a formation of countless razor-sharp fangs rising from the ground, large and small, forming the perfect death trap to pierce through any prey. Sigma launched itself upward, commanding the deadly spikes to shoot toward Golden Monkey. It expected to see fear flash across its opponent's face. It expected Golden Monkey to hesitate, to slow down. But that never happened. Golden Monkey's eyes didn't even flicker. It didn't even flinch. Instead, it charged straight in. The fangs tore through its body, blood splattering everywhere, dyeing the battlefield red. For a moment, Sigma thought it had won. But then, crack! A shattering sound echoed across the battlefield. What? Sigma's eyes widened in horror. Golden Monkey didn't care about its own blood, its own pain. It thrust its staff forward, tearing through everything in its way. The weapon slammed straight into Sigma's face. The mask protecting Sigma's face shattered, leaving a gaping hole. The flaming staff drove deeper and deeper, as Golden Monkey put all of its remaining strength into pushing it further inside. How is this possible? A mere monkey, a creature so small. And yet, it had done this. Sigma was too stunned to react. Its body toppled backward from the sheer force. Golden Monkey didn't loosen its grip. It only pushed harder, until Sigma's head burst open into a deep, hollow crater. With nothing left to pierce, Golden Monkey swung its staff violently, blasting away the remains of its opponent's head. Sigma's mangled skull tilted to the side, nothing but chunks of flesh left hanging. Yet, Golden Monkey didn't relax, not even for a second. Its sharp eyes scanned the battlefield, as if Sigma might suddenly grow 9 more heads and strike back. Even as the god's lifeless body collapsed, blood pooling around it, Golden Monkey refused to lower its guard. Only when its bare feet landed on the ground with a heavy thud did it realize. It was exhausted. For the first time, it allowed itself to breathe. Panting heavily, leaning on its staff, it thought to itself, "Is it dead? I don't know. But damn it, I'm tired as hell."